I want to rephrase it. It looks as if with the signing into law, the Finance Bill 2023, that the Azimio coalition has lost, that no threat to go to the street, no threat of a leeway into court, no threat of coming up with their alternative finance bill, no threat of winning the battle in Parliament, has essentially given them space that this is now a won battle, just like they were told by President Ruto. Mr. Macharia.
One thing, Elijah. The Azimio team needs to go back to the drawing board.
Yes.
They seem to have been focusing, actually in the words of Sun Tzu, the art of war, where Sun Tzu had said that you should concentrate your forces. That is the first error, I think, that Azimio had made from the beginning. They're still making the same mistake. This is the reason why. They always revert back to the streets. We know that previously the Azimio team had gone to court to contest the presidential elections. They lost. They did not get any international support from any election observers. That was a loss for them. The bill has been passed. They've lost in Parliament again. They have actually even lost the recent impeachment of the deputy governor for Sierra.
Yes.
They've lost in the Senate. That is where they should actually try to concentrate their forces. Okay? Now, as far as whether they've lost or not, the fact is, yes, they've lost on all rounds. So what can they do? They are, first of all, always reverting to the same old tactic of going back to the streets, of which I can assure you they will lose. Okay? So if I were them, I would probably want to take into account what the leader of minority, Opio and I, had actually proposed. I think it was in May.
Yes.
When they had said that they're working on a bill to bring in the office of the official leader of opposition. That, to me, I think, is something they should start admitting as a new strategy, because in that does not mean that they're going to stop. Whether they're going to go back to the streets, that's okay. It's within their constitutional rights, as long as they don't break the law. If at all they still admit the amendment of the constitution, or they bring the office of the leader of official opposition, it is better for them. It is a plus for them. Okay? That, for now, I think initially is my take. As they go back to the drawing board and try and ask themselves, what are we doing? Secondly, thirdly, they had equally said that they were planning to come up with a parallel finance bill and bring it to the people for public participation, which they did not. Again, a loss. So Azimio is continuously, in my opinion, making the error of actually always saying we are going to go back to the streets. They postponed.
Yes.
We are going to go back and give you a parallel finance bill. They did not deliver one. We are going to make sure we marshal our forces in the House of Parliament. They fail.
Yes.
So they're looking at a real critical crisis of a lose, 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 lose.
On that particular point, yes, on the areas that you've noted,
yes,
Mr. Macharia, let's go back to going to creating the official office of the opposition leader.
Yes.
That was already, I would say, supported by the president.
Yes.
And he actually did say that. But you did see the reaction of the Kenya Kwanza members of parliament in the House. They said, no, we do not think that we are going to support that. Because that, again, has to go back to the National House.
Yes,
and they've been losing in the National House.
Exactly. They will win on that one. Because, number one, the foot soldiers, that is members of parliament and the senators who are on the president's side, they've been actually directed by their leader, that is the president. We are okay with that bill, have it passed. And I'll just give you a small excerpt on the bill. Why I say it is important for the Azimio team to actually consider and admit that bill, even on their own drafting. That bill says that they're going to create an office of the official leader of opposition. It will be funded by the exchequer.
Yes.
That is a good thing. Number two, it says that it proposes that while the leader of official opposition can be or will be insulated from civil or criminal proceedings while in office, that's a plus. Okay? Thirdly, it gives the leader of official opposition the chance and opportunity to address the House periodically and the country periodically. For me, why I think they should consider admitting that is particularly on this note. Number one, the office of the official leader of opposition will be a constitutional office. It will give legal mandate and legitimacy to the Azimio side of the divide,
Yes.
to the Honorable Raila Odinga. Number 3, an official opposition can have a shadow cabinet. Okay? A shadow cabinet will be like Raila Odinga, as the official leader of opposition, will have the prerequisite to appoint his own shadow cabinet to go toe-to-toe with the cabinet of the government. This is to say, for example, if there's a shadow cabinet for trade and investment, that shadow cabinet minister from the Azimio side will be toe-to-toe with Moses Kuria, who is on the trade and investment of the side, whereby if they propose this policy, if they propose this bill, it is countered on facts rather than going to the streets without the facts. In fact, I would have expected them, as I conclude,
Yes.
to have already prepared a parallel finance bill. So what are they coming back to the street to the people with? That's my question.
Pretty much. I'll be coming back to you because then somebody is asking, what does Raila Amolo Odinga really want? Because even if we talk about the Azimio plan, we have to be cognizant of the fact that this is a Raila Amolo Odinga issue with one President William Ruto.
Right.
Be coming back to you because then that essentially starts to put the plan into question because, wait a minute, they were given that opportunity to go in and sit through the bipartisan talks, which, if you do remember, they completely pulled out and the talks crashed.